Today, we're going to dive into the story of a figure in American politics who was, let's be honest, incredibly powerful, deeply controversial, and whose story ultimately ends in tragedy. This isn't just about one person, it's a real case study that tells us a lot about where we are right now. So that really brings us to the central question, right? How does a political story even get to a place where it ends in tragedy? It's something we have to talk about, because when passion boils over like this, well, the consequences can be absolutely devastating. And understanding that how feels more urgent than ever. Okay, so we're actually going to start this story at the very end. And there's a reason for that. To really get the weight of everything that happened, you have to know the shocking conclusion right from the get-go. This one moment, it just set off a firestorm across the country.
Get right up.
Yeah. You think he'd already be in place?
You would think that. So there's somebody on the roof right there? Just saying.
Huh.
He just ran from over, where's my finger? Whoa. From over there, ran in. And now he's right there. Just saying.
Above the tent, so it would be in the camp. Made us move.
What was that? Oh my God! He just got shot! Holy s***! Holy s***! Fucking shit. There's been a shooting. We heard shots.
So let's start right there. Before we get into the movement he built and how he got so big, we have to look at the event that cut it all short. And the facts are just stark. There's no other word for it. He's on stage at Utah Valley University giving a speech as part of his American comeback tour, and he's killed at just 31 years old. I mean, this was a moment of political violence that just left the entire nation stunned. So the big question is, how did he even get on that stage to begin with? To figure that out, we've got to rewind the clock, go all the way back to the beginning, because this story isn't just about how it ended. It's really about a meteoric, almost unbelievable rise that was designed to completely change the game on college campuses. Believe it or not, it all started when he was just 19 years old. He drops out of community college, but not because he was doing badly. Nope. It's because he had this big idea. And that idea, it became Turning Point USA, or TPUSA. That was the engine for everything. And the core message was, well, it was incredibly simple, and that's what made it so potent. It wasn't some complicated 10-point plan. It was a direct, you might even say explosive claim that just hit home with a lot of people. It was the fuel for the fire. And the growth was, it was just lightning fast. You're talking about a startup idea in 2012, and by the early 2020s, it's a full-blown multi-million-dollar political machine. It's like he threw a match on gasoline at a really volatile time in American culture. And listen, this wasn't just some online thing, not just tweets and posts. We're talking about a real-world footprint. Hundreds of actual chapters on college campuses all across the country. A real, tangible network for young conservatives. But, as you can probably guess, as the movement got bigger, the opposition got louder. And that right there, that's the central conflict of this whole story. His message was so polarizing, and the reaction it got, well, it was fierce. So what was his platform? It was really built on all the biggest cultural flashpoints of the era. He went all in on Christian conservatism, he was a huge vocal supporter of Donald Trump, and he just relentlessly went after woke ideology and what he called the radical left takeover of schools. And this created such a deep divide. There was really no middle ground with him. If you were a supporter, you saw him as this brave truth teller, someone finally saying what you were thinking. But if you were a critic, you saw a dangerous demagogue who was just pouring gasoline on the culture wars. The controversy wasn't just about the ideas either. His organization, TPUSA, started facing some really tough questions about its money, where it was coming from, how it was being spent. Plus, people started accusing him of, let's say, stretching the truth, exaggerating his membership numbers, and pushing baseless conspiracy theories, especially around things like stolen elections. But here's the thing, love him or hate him, you absolutely could not ignore him. He really understood the game. In today's world, attention is everything. It's currency. And Charlie Kirk, he was a master at getting it. So all of this brings us to the really complicated part, his legacy. what did he actually leave behind? After his shocking death, you can bet that debate just got even more intense. So yeah, how do you remember a figure like this? Was he this visionary leader for young conservatives who felt like they had no voice on campus? Or was he a polarizing figure who profited by making the country's splits even worse? You know, the really complicated thing is, maybe he was both at the same time. And no surprise here, the way people reacted to his death was just as divided as his life. For his supporters, he instantly became a martyr. For his critics, it was this terrifying example of where political violence can lead. And for everybody else in the middle, just total shock. When you step back and look at the whole story, it's like a magnifying glass on our current moment, isn't it? It shows you just how powerful and, frankly, how dangerous things can get when you mix together social media, identity, and this constant cycle of outrage that we live in. And that leaves us with one last, really big question to think about. When political debate gets so heated that it turns violent, who actually pays the price? Charlie Kirk's story gives us one tragic answer. But as the temperature keeps rising everywhere, it makes you wonder, who else pays the price when the talking stops?